Hello! How is everyone this fine day?
Hey, people.
So, our guest is running a bit late. So, we are going to, for now, talk about the parts of the, making a movie that I know about. So my experience with making movies mostly comes in the effects side. So, making props, doing special effects, making makeup, stuff like that. So, I know from my side of it, it comes down to finding the cheapest yet most convincing way to make something show. And remembering what you see with your eye isn't necessarily what the camera sees.
What does that mean?
So, when you're building something for a movie or for film, you need to find out what film rate. First of all, are they using any particular filters? Are they going black and white? Are they going to saturate it? Do they want to run it like it's 35 with a 35 mil filter on it so it looks grainy and old? So you need to know what camera settings they're going to be using. What if they're doing 4K, 8K? What camera stuff they're using, so that you can actually look through the camera. Because when you look through a camera, the picture and the image quality will actually look different than when you are physically looking at the item. A lot of the time, things look cheap and goofy. If you look at a lot of real movie props, they look goofy and funky. But when you see them on stage, on camera, they sell because you're not right up close to them where you can see with detail. So even like, say, the Star Wars weapons. That's a great example right there. The Star Wars weapons. Those are literally, a lot of the original ones were freaking old decommissioned guns that they kit back and glued a bunch of random junk to them to make it look like a space ray. And that's how you get the blasters. All the blasters, the original ones were basically that. Chewbacca's bowcaster is just a bow with a bunch of random, with like Christmas ornaments glued to the end and stuff. But when you see it on stage, it sells. And because they're using decommissioned guns, it also has a secondary effect of it has weight. So they were getting those guns super cheap over in the UK because they were old technology and they were military surplus stuff. So they could get them super cheap over there. And the weight of that gun, when you're holding it as when the actor is holding it, they're able to sell it more because they can actually feel the weight of the gun when they move their hand and stuff. Same thing with most swords that you see. So, like all the Weta Workshop swords for like Lord of the Rings, you're gonna have 3 copies. You'll have your hero sword, your master sword, and your stunt sword. So your stunt sword is going to be something soft, something that if you hit somebody, it's not gonna hurt them. Your master sword is going to be a aluminum sword typically. That's going to be about 90% there. All the big details will be there, but like little engravings and stuff aren't going to be on that one. Because that's the one that they're going to use, and kind of like if they have to have metal blade on metal blade hit or something like that, and they need to show that, that's what you're going to see that one for. If somebody's smacking a freaking stick or something like that, a branch, whacking a branch, you'll see that one. That one's an aluminum blade. It's really soft. It's not actually meant to hit things. It's more just for when you see like Braveheart, when he does that on his big speech and he has that'd be your master sword. Your hero sword is for all your close-up stuff. That's the one that has all the little jewel and crest and the detailed stuff. Depending on your budget, sometimes your hero and your master are the same sword. those are typically aluminum swords, so the blade's actually fairly soft. They're not sharp, they just look sharp. And aluminum polishes beautifully. So you can get a nice, shiny chrome blade out of aluminum. Plus, by it being aluminum, it's lighter so that it doesn't kill the actor's arm. But when you see like the scenes where they're like the hero practicing, swinging around the sword, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be the that master or the hero blade. And a lot of the time, one guy's gonna make those blades, and another guy's gonna make a stunt blade. And a lot of times, the stunt blade is literally they took the hero blade, cast it in silicone, they pull it off, they put a they cast and then they cast that in foam. They pull it out and they cast the foam in the mold that they made out of the hero sword, and that's how you get your blades. Your that you can actually hit. You paint that one up, make it look pretty, clean up all your seams and stuff, and that's how you get your stunt blades. Because also then if you break a stunt blade, you have a mold, you run another one real quick. Keeps the price down per unit. And then you can use stuff like rub and buff to get the shine on the blade. Because it doesn't have to be a mirror finish, because rarely are you that close to the blade when it's striking, when they're actually swinging the blade around. It just has to be a shiny blur swinging with it and look like it's metal. Also, things like, I know the Space Marine armor from Aliens. There is a lot of fine details in the master suits, and you have to make the main actor their suit, but you also have to make one for the stunt double. Stunt double suit's never as detailed. It's not a dead-on costume. It is close, but it is rarely the exact same costume, unless it's something like Deadpool, where there's no reason for it to not be. But a lot of the time, things like the Space Marines in Aliens have a lot of little pieces hanging off of their stuff, and some of those bigger ones on the stunts are actually casted into it. If you see the stunt plate, some of them are casted in. So
is that so they can still look it, but not have to worry about like them falling off or anything?
That, or if you're jumping into a pod or whatever, and you have a freaking padlock around your neck, that might hurt. But if it's cast as part of the chest plate, that thing can't swing up and bust you in the forehead. Also, it'll look really stupid if this big padlock's swinging out there. You want to keep everything. You want some movement and secondary movement and jingles and jiggles, but some of the bigger, heavier stuff you're gonna attach. And then like there's like the foam dog that we made on here. That's a prop that I made for Graveyard. Hopefully it's here soon. But that prop, I did no finishing on the bottom side. You're never seeing the second side of that prop. That dead animal doesn't get picked up and carried or anything. The other side doesn't matter. It is purely laying on the ground. So the bottom side is just all foam.
And that's what you mean by not worrying about what you see, only what the camera sees when you're making the stuff?
Yeah. Because sometimes you need all the detail. If you're getting close with the camera, you need that detail. Sometimes you don't. The eye on that dog is a piece of tape. It's a piece of electrical tape. Because I cut a hole the right shape and I put black under it so it'd be a blackout glossy piece. Because because if you're not going to be paying attention to that little eye. There's no close up to the face. It's more about the shoulder area than the head. So little details like that you don't really need. You can sell them without it. And then some stuff you're just going to be able to cheat in camera. The Jim Carrey rhino scene where he climbs out the back of the rhino, they had like 2 or 3 rhinos for that. They had one that was just the back of the rhino, which is the one that he climbs out of. They had a shell that was for exterior shots. Like, the rhino came apart into chunks, and they made different pieces so that they can shoot it in different ways. Also, you have to remember, where does your camera need to be able to get to? Do you need to make this thing modular where you can, like, remove a section of it so the camera can sit where the other half of the part was? And then if you're getting into, like, creatures and such for props, that's when you start having to worry about anatomy. If you have a dead animal that they're gonna fling up over their shoulder, you want the arms to kind of flunk around, but you want a stiff point in the middle because there's bone there. If it looks like a noodle wobbling around, what happened to this poor deer where all his bones turned to freaking ramen noodles? So you have to be able to stiffen up the middle spots, but let the joints kind of flop around. Because the tendons aren't working anymore, so the leg's still gonna flop, but it's only gonna flop really a little bit to the side, but mostly forward backwards.
Because that's how the joints go.
That's the direction of the joints. The tendons aren't there, but the cartilage is still holding the stuff together. The tendons are there, but they're just loose, so they're not pulling it either way. But the cartilage around the joint is still going to be holding it in place.
Mm-hmm.
The the muscles will still be holding the 2 parts together, even to an extent. Even though there's going to be a little bit of side play now, because nothing's holding tight on the sides.
Oh.
Join in a few. Alright, Greg will be here in a moment.
Yeah, I heard your phone go off. I saw mine vibrate, so figured it was him in our group chat.
I mean, we have this coming up that I'm about to be making props for Graveyard, and I will be making all 3 of those masks on screen plus 1 more. You okay over there?
I'm trying to point to it.
You look like you're having a seizure.
I'm practicing my Jack Sparrow.
But so all the masks on this show have very different looks. So if you go to the top one, the mom, she has more of a wolf type mask. There's going to be a lot more shaping and working I'm going to have to do for that one, versus the dad in the middle there is fairly straightforward. It's going to be a fairly easy one. I'm basically going to be doing 2 half panels with a smiley cut out and do a back panel and then put the teeth onto the back panel. That way when I bridge the 2 pieces together in the middle, it'll crown outward because it has a slight ridge down the middle. And then I do get an advantage with this particular project because they are supposed in the character's storyline. They made their masks. Well, if a group of novice made their own masks, they're not going to be mint and pristine and perfect. They're going to be a little off and weird. They might not be exact. The daughter down there with the clown. I'm thinking most of that's going to be foam, but for that big red cherry nose, I think I might just go over to something like Evangeline's and get a clown nose and attach that.
Yeah. Well, how soon do you need to get the clown nose?
Oh, we got something here. This just in, we have Graveyard.
Hello. Sorry for my tardiness. Life is chaos.
Yeah, and it always. Look what we have on stage. We just talked about
How are you guys doing?
the masks and what it takes to do the props for now. While we waited for you to get here, so you can tell us more about start telling us about what it takes to actually get start with a script.
Yes. So it really just starts off with an idea, right? Obviously, for Family Man, as you know, that is start off as an indie comic first and foremost, right? And you're able to use that kind of as a point to showcase what you want the script to happen. I don't know how much detail you've gone into the Family Man as of right now, Jeff.
Mostly just talked about the masks and that they made their kind of homemade masks. So mostly talking prop wise.
Yeah. So, like I said, for this film, Nate Price is the writer of the comic, and there's not a lot of dialogue in the comic itself, so the script is pretty straightforward. But we're using then the comic as a storyboard of what to shoot. So hopefully, actors are able to hit their marks a lot easier with this piece and able to go from there. But yeah, as I said, it's off with a script, and it's really just kind of putting all the pieces together to make the film happen. Jeff knows, as he's been part of all our production meetings, of what we have to do with all the props and everything that come to it. And that's kind of like step 2 of the filmmaking process. So yeah, script, as I said, pretty easy. You kind of set along your guidelines and your shooting stuff and what you want to be able to make in the film itself. So yeah, that's like a crucial step, and then kind of find your actors and your cast, and that's kind of like step 3 then of the process. And you kind of have to pivot with who you're able to find with the film. Especially for Family Man, we have special kind of restrictions and criteria for some of our casts that we need to have. Kind of our secret piece right now is we have to incorporate American Sign Language into the films. We have to have people that are able to know sign language or be able to teach it as well. So that's kind of been our biggest casting process for Family Man right now.
So the next part of that would probably be getting the voice for your character. What is their backstory? And stuff like that.
Yeah, what's Family Man's presenting a weird kind of unique thing that we never really had to dive into before here at Horror Dads is, yes, we have some material, but we also have to be kind of consistent with issues 2 and 3 and beyond. They're kind of looking like, right? We want to have the movie kind of be the same tone as the comic as close as we can. So we have the kind of the stereotypical tropes of the jock, the prom queen, the stoner, and the bookworm. And we're kind of letting our cast going to have some input into what those characters kind of sound like, because you don't know what they sound like in the comics. You have your own little voice inside your head of what people sound like. So yeah, that's kind of building that out, and we can't spoil too much about what's coming up in this issues, like kind of like with the Family Man, what the sign language means for people and what that is part of the bigger story. We have to make sure though our actors are not going to kind of step on any changes or anything that's coming up in the next couple issues. If that makes sense.
Kind of like keeping the canon of the Star Wars comics with the Star Wars movies.
Yes, I prefer they kept the canon of the EU books, the Legends books, more than anything else. But yes, yeah. So we can't have let's say for example, Captain America can't be an asshole unless he was in the comics.
or he becomes Captain Hydra, but
well, right, yeah.
But and then, what does it take to get? What would someone need to get for the background stuff? All the location stuff, the people, the what kind of stuff can they? What kind of obstacles can they look forward to having to figure out there if they wanted to make a film?
Yeah, for locations wise for this film, the biggest obstacle is they took pictures and inspirations from childhood houses he had in California, in Arizona, and then gave it to the artist. And that's kind of been a discussion point of, how much we try to make the movie look like the comic. These are real places 2,000 miles away from me. And do we have everyone in front of a green screen? We try to impose it, or do we try to make something that looks as similar as we possibly can to the panels? So location scouting, location scouting is a big piece of this film, because we, as you know, we have to have a tremendous staircase somewhere in the film. We're going to probably have to cheat that, because I don't know anyone in this area that has that staircase. That was kind of in Nate's head, and the artist drew for it. So that's been location scouting. It's like trying to find a place that we can shoot at with permits, with licenses, and all that fun stuff that no one really thinks about, and try to make it as close to the comic as we possibly can.
And then you also have to keep in mind you have to get your cameraman, your audio people, all your other people that can be there as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that go into making a film. Would you like to talk about some of the other roles that you'd have to get filled besides just your actors? Yeah.
I mean, luckily the actor part is the 7 main people for Family Man, but behind the scenes, behind the camera, there's a lot more to it. And I am part of Horror Dads Productions, so we have a sound guy, we have lighting, we have producers, we have directors of photography. You kind of have to try to have at least one person for that role, because no one can be running sound and holding lights at the same time, right? So we probably have I mean, we can fly you up here. But we have some PAs that have to kind of step in here, because with indie horror, you honestly wear as many hats as is required to make the film. If someone has to go, hey, you have to do this to make this scene happen, you do it. Like, for example, this past January, we were shooting in Illinois in the winter, and it was -17 out. And we had to have someone hold the light outside. Did our PAs want to go do that? No, they didn't. So me, as assistant director, script supervisor, continuity expert, was out there holding the light just because we needed to make the shot happen. So the indie world requires a lot of the crew and cast to kind of intermingle if necessary, just to make the film happen. We love to have one single person per each job, but realistically, that's just not feasible most of the time.
I mean, even in Hollywood, a lot of the time, a lot of the big breakout stars actually came from background. Harrison Ford was a carpenter. Yep. John Wayne was a prop guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that happens way more than what people think about. Is like, you can be a PA, you could be someone that's just there as an extra, but you're there, you're putting in the work, you put in the time, and then an actor isn't able to make it, or there's cancellation, or someone's sick. We need someone to fill in this role, and that's how a lot of those people kind of get started. It's like, okay, you're gonna be in front of the camera now, have fun.
Yeah, I forget which 80s movie it was, but there's one of them where one of the grips was going to just be the placeholder, but played the role so well, they're like, no, we're just leaving him.
Yeah. The famous story for me is that a couple movies ago, our main killer didn't come down from Michigan for a weekend of shooting, and the actress didn't show up. So I told my wife, I'm like, hey, you're getting murdered in our garage tonight. Let's do this. So She was the fill-in for the actress she's never acted a day in her life. She's always sound and lighting in theater in high school. And I go, well, then I will be the serial killer, so I get to kill my wife on screen.
I hope you at least know your neighbors so they expect stuff like that from you.
I mean, I'd hope so. I used to brew beer in my garage, and I'm murdering people for films. It's the same thing, right?
So, if they didn't have something like Horror Dads, what areas could they go to try to find people to help put together some of these positions?
So there's, as you know, you guys are part of one community that we reach out to a lot is costume designers, cosplayers, prop makers. And you go to your local cons to help to try to find people for a lot of the effects pieces that go with it, right? Because I can't make a costume to save my life. And I know that. So that's why I have, you, Jeff, to help us out with the props and special effects. But a kind of like this underground community that most people don't really think about is haunted houses. Because you have people that are acting that have to be consistent and be in front of people at all times. We have makeup people that are also there as well. So we kind of lean heavily for like our smaller roles and makeup effects to go to haunted houses. Obviously, September through October is pretty busy for them. But throughout the rest of the year, we're able to kind of tap on their shoulders and go, hey, we need someone to do this who's able to help us out and, obviously compensate them for any costs that they have.
I know there's also theaters.
Yes.
Playhouses and such. That's where Kevin Smith cast half of Clerks crew from.
Yeah. What's really interesting is with theaters, and we do get people from theater as well, is everyone in theater is used to projecting to the person in the back row of the theater, right? So you have to be really, lots of motions, be able to see and really project your voice. Yeah, overact, yeah. And then when you're 5 feet from the camera, can't do that. I mean, you can, it just won't look, as good as Tommy Wiseau in the room.
It depends on, are you going for normal horror or that we're such a bad B-real horror, we're just going to lean into it horror?
We in the East Coast here, we have not done that classic cliche of B horror movies yet. We try to be as serious as we can. But it's an easy enough transition for theater actors to be in front of the camera. And if you're able to be in front of hundreds of people, you can just talk to 3 people behind the camera just fine.
Well, the other upside is that when they need a scream, they have the freaking vocal range to push it.
Yes. I had to scream 2 years ago in the film, which was hard for me to do. It really was, because I'm out in the middle of a cornfield and we're just having flashlights that kind of be my signal to, because people are like 50 feet, 100 yards away. I'm just like, okay, cool. Now I have to project and scream, but not in a angry dad scream, but like I'm getting murdered scream. So
there's a slight difference between those, I think.
If they want to play me play an angry dad, I can do that in a heartbeat.
Can you go all Bert Kreischer and play yourself all the time?
I have, but I did take drama and theater for 4 years in high school, 2 different things. So I am able to act somewhat. It just takes me a little bit more time to get into a different character, but it's a lot of fun. You're able to push your comfort zone. You can be the neurotic guy. You try not to be what's overused in the indie horror world is everyone's angry all the time. That's the easy emotion to convey, but it's not the real world. It's angry all the time. It's close to it, but not quite.
I don't know. I've worked in a lot of welding and mechanic shops. There's usually that one old guy that's been there for far too long.
Yeah. I soon enough I'll be the old guy that just warns people not to go into the woods. That's fine.
Well, once you have your cast, your crew, and all that, your location, then you have to get out on set
Mm-hmm.
and wrangle the cats. So
Yeah. I'm not gonna say all actors are prima donnas, but a lot are. It's just there is an ego somewhat to acting, right? You have to have it in some way, shape, or form. It's just kind of like, it's kind of putting that hard line in the sand, because you want to have an enjoyable set that people want to work with you again, but you can't let people get too lax, and then a scene that's supposed to take, a couple scenes that's supposed to take an hour to the shoot is now taking all day, right? Especially in the kind of guerrilla run and gun stuff that we have. We only have a couple of weekends that we can film a lot of this in, so we are pretty hard set in the timelines of what we have to get done. We go, hey, between in daylight, noon to 2, we have to get these 3 scenes done. So we kind of put that kibosh on a lot of the lollygagging that has to happen, so we don't have 18-hour, 19-hour days. We do have them. It's a lot of work, but I've noticed that like about 2 a.m. everyone gets the giggles, and it's just trying to get through that.
So it's a lot of trying to minimize retakes as much as possible, and cut the spaces in between going from this set to that set to doing this thing to the resets, and because someone gets stabbed and drops to the ground, now you got to reset the stab wound, reset the set back to where it was, go back to that on the camera to make sure that it matches exactly.
That's why continuity is key. We at Horror Dads have always kind of shot linearly, so we don't have to go back and do that stuff. So if someone gets stabbed in the neck, that blood that's already there, that's what's there in the next scene. So we try not to have to reset, especially for special effects. But it's a lot of dry runs to make sure that everything kind of works well, and we go for that. We've
one and done it.
Yeah, we've had one and dones. They are the most nerve-wracking shot to do, period. It's just because, as you know, sometimes if you have to cut a head in half, you only have one take because you only have one head.
Well, also, anytime you're adding blood or guts or chemicals or whatever to a costume, that costume's now changed. Even
Correct.
if you go to clean all that off, it's still changed.
Yeah. And what I do, if I know I'm going to be in the scene, regardless if I'm getting bloody or not, I make sure I have multiple outfits. They're exactly the same, just in case. So something that hasn't come out yet, because we're filming the second part of this film, is I was in the makeup chair for about 2 hours. I get shot in the head. So I have the tubing attached to my head, hitting the gash, going down my neck, going 20 feet away. And so we did all that stuff. And I'm also assistant director. So I get shot, blood. Okay, well, my body's still on the screen for a couple more scenes. So I'm like, I'm not moving. So I'm like, all right, someone hand me the script. I'm going to be laying down, reading what to do next. So I'm not moving in the scene.
Just direct from the ground.
Yeah. The cold, hard ground. Yes, it's great.
That's about as good as this last weekend when we were at Silver Age. Phil was talking to one of the actors from Tron. And one of the things he said is when he got the script, he was sitting on a horse waiting to do another scene. And he's thumbing through it while everyone else gets ready. And he's like, what the heck is this stuff? And they're like, all right, let's go. And he just shoves it in the saddlebag. And then let's go. So somewhere, some Western movie, there's a script for Tron hidden in a saddlebag.
That's awesome, though. It. I said we try to have fun on the set. We try to have a good time, make sure everyone gets along well. As you said, it's herding cats. There's conflicts. Last year in June, there's 13 of us in a one bathroom house, and it's a lot of work. But if there's any problems, we tell people, come to us, come to directors, come to producers. We will work this through. Just because we're all here for the long haul. We're there for 9 days.
There's a goal. We all have to get to the goal.
Correct. So yeah, we're getting done at 3 or 4 in the morning, and we're getting up at 8, 9 the next day. It is what it is, because we actually had a rain day in there. So, on top of the rain, we had to deal with in the woods. We had to deal with ticks, poison ivy, bear sightings, and coyotes howling at 1 in the morning. It's fun.
Yeah. I'm sure your catering table helped with bears lots.
We didn't bring food with us to that park, so it's
always for the best.
It is. We just had a couple of tents and makeups and stuff like that. It's a lot of work, but I can tell you right now that as soon as I get done with the set and filming, say goodbye to everyone. A lot of the people I'm still in contact with, daily, but a lot of the other people are like, they become your family. You see them for very long hours. You get really close to personal with a lot of people, and then the movie's done, and you move on to the next thing. You just go, man, I miss so and so, right? I have to talk to them again, and that's how we like to run Horror Dads. Is like we want people to come back. We want people to want to work with us again, so we can have a lot of the same cast, a lot of the same crew. So it just feels like a gathering, a family reunion on the next film.
Plus, everyone knows their roles once you get a crew, then everyone knows, okay, this person's going to do that, so I don't have to worry about that. I can focus on this.
Yeah.
And if you can focus on this and not worry about that, you're going to do better on this.
Correct. Yeah. For Fairfield County 4 that we did last year, Josh Brucker was the director, and we had Joe Bob Briggs on set. And we had 15 to 20 people that are paid extras to be in the scene with Joe Bob Briggs. But we only get Joe Bob for 3 hours. So everyone wants autographs, everyone wants pictures taken. So we're like, we know that you paid as a perk to be here, but like we have to get his scenes taken care of. And whatever time we have afterwards, if he's willing, that's when we can do all the socializing. But dealing with that many extras in a different room while you can't see what's being filmed and keeping everyone quiet was a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I had to be angry dad in the basement.
In the basement. That sounds harder than trying to keep a bunch of toddlers quiet when you're practicing shelter in place.
I had 3. I had 3 kids within 4 years. They were all young at the same time. Yeah, it was a lot easier with them.
Yeah.
Well, with your own
kids,
kids,
do that stuff for work. So.
Yeah.
With your own kids, as the dad, you can at least put the fear of God in them, and they, at least for the first couple of years.
Correct. But yeah, it's. So yeah,
what are you talking about? My mom still haunts me and does that to me.
But yeah, like I said, as assistant director, I had to make sure that the scenes that were going on a different floor of the house were going smoothly, and like I said, keeping everyone quiet, because you think, oh, you're being quiet, but with boom mics, stuff like that, we pick up a lot of extra noise with those mics. So it was the most nerve-wracking, honestly, most costly scenes for us to do. Just
question:
cost money.
You said you paid the extras. How do you get funding for that stuff?
The actors actually paid to be in the film.
Oh.
That was a perk. They could, like, do you want to be in a scene with Joe Bob Briggs? They go, yes, please. But to your question though, how do you pay people? Like in the indie world, there's a lot of favors that are asked. It's just kind of how it is. Like, hey, if I help you do this film, will you help me do my film, and kind of pay it forward? And there's a lot of good faith that comes with it. But yeah, it's like Family Man here. You have to do campaigns. You have to rely on the horror community to help fund your film. Because if we were all rich we wouldn't be asking for money to film a movie. We'd be able to just make it.
Right. And that kind of also. Go ahead.
Oh, it's to say, it's you have to rely on a lot of people to help fund your film as much as you can. Nothing's ever gonna be perfect, and I've seen people that crowdfund for $600. I've seen people crowdfund for $100,000. It's amazing what people are able to and willing to do in the indie world. Like I said, it's the same with comics, stuff like that. You rely on the fans to help make your dream come possible. Usually at no money to you.
Yeah, so I was gonna say it kind of works the same way in the cosplay community. It's like, hey, you get featured in a show, and you get your exposure, but in exchange they're like, okay, we want you to run our contest for us then, or something, or we want you to put on a workshop or something. So it is a give and take with cosplayers and getting into conventions and stuff. Besides going in, paying to get in and competing, you do get up to the level where you finally get asked by the promoters, or you work out with the promoters where you go in and you be a featured guest. But in order to have that free space and everything, you do have to do something for the convention, like promoting or running an event or something within their event.
Yeah. And I with doing a show that I do, Conversations in the Void, I have a lot of people, obviously, in the horror world that are trying to make their film happen, that are trying to promote this, and that's why they come on the show to promote their projects. And I always like to be that safe haven for people. They're like, you may be talking to the same 100 people every single time. I have a different audience. There's going to be some overlap, but I want to make sure that we're able to showcase who the writers, directors, actors are and their projects, because indies got to support indies. Really, what it comes down to. Would I love to pay everyone properly for every movie? Of course. I would absolutely love to do that. But I've been asked by multiple people, like, hey, I'm having this issue with my film, or hey, we'd love to have you down here for a weekend or two while we're doing the film. Can you do that? Then I have to look at, how much is that going to cost me to go down a couple of states? How much is that going to cost me to be away from my family? Will my wife say yes? Stuff like that. And I'd love to be able to just go onto sets and be a strip supervisor, or just pitch in wherever I can to help make the film happen, because it's a lot of work. And I really enjoy everyone that comes on the show. I want to make sure their projects succeed as well.
Right.
So once everything's shot and filmed, then you have a whole nother game to play. Now you actually have to make the movie, all of it, fit together.
Yes. I would say editing is the hardest part, but it's actually pretty easy in a way if you only have 3 or 4 takes. As opposed to Stanley Kubrick's 100 plus. So yes, editing is pretty straightforward. What I've done with Josh is we have what we call the dailies, or the scenes shot for the day. You kind of start taking notes of what pieces you like best and stuff like that. So if we have some downtime, we kind of start putting that timeline together while we're filming ahead of time, so we can kind of see how the scenes go together, how they flow, and if we have to do a retake or a reshoot of it, we kind of know right about then and there when it's necessary.
And then there's also, if you're adding any layers of effects or any filters, polishing, stuff like that as well.
Yeah. That's where a lot of people differ with the editing tools, stuff they use. I know a lot of people use DaVinci Resolve. I use Adobe myself, just because my wife's a teacher and she gets the teacher discount for Adobe, so it's a lot nicer to do that. It's just kind of like the color coding. It kind of comes down to, and honestly, the resyncing of the audio, because you have the external mic, you have to sync up to the audio. That's why the clapboard is really, really important, is that's your time sync for each scene for the audio, in case you have to modulate it in any way, shape, or form. With Decades of Horror that I shot a couple of weeks ago, it's a silent film. So we're able to take away all audio. So don't really have to worry about audio and stuff like that. It's just kind of like piecing together that scene, that take. And with it being a 1920 style, we are going to add black and white, but we're going to do the rust color, sepia tone, to apply on top of every piece that we did. So it's a couple editing layers that go with it. Color correction is always a huge thing. You know, if you look back at the 80s and 90s where people were recording straight to VHS, and whatever the sun color was that day, that's the light color you got. You know, it's a lot of work in the editing back end. Like I said, we were able to edit it kind of on the fly, so we kind of have a leg up by the time the movie's done.
And then once you get it all edited and put together and how you like it, you have your credits on there, you have anything, your post-credit scene, whatever you're putting in there, you got your film all done. Now you have to go put it out somewhere.
That's the real work. It really is the real work. Marketing is something I admittedly am not good at. So you have to be able to talk to, you know, shows like this, shows like mine, and just talk about the movie that's coming out there. You want to give a couple screeners away to people to kind of review it as well. So you're able to sacrifice a screener or two for someone to review it that has some clout in the horror community, some amount of followers, as a good marketing strategy. But there's so much distribution that's out there. It's absolutely crazy because you think your film may be done until you submit your film for quality assurance for a distribution company. And they go, I don't like the color. I don't like the format. I don't like the screen size. I don't like your poster, all this stuff that goes with it. And a lot of people don't realize that you have to create an SRT file or a subtitle file to go with it, because in order to pass quality assurance, you have to have subtitles. And they have to pass, which is amazing to me because I've watched so many things on Netflix that the subtitles are not even close to what the scene is. That I'm just going to, how are the requirements so more rigorous for indie horror than it's for shows on Netflix? It's beyond me.
I'm probably leaning towards the fact that the shock and awe type horror has kind of played that system a little bit hard.
Probably, but I'm just, like I said, I've watched, like I said, so many times. Like I've watched movies, dubs, stuff like that. It's not even close. But like I said, you have to have in the subtitle file, because I've created them myself. If there's silence, you can't have a blank in the file. There has to be something there. So it could be leaves rustling. It could be, you know, ghostly mumbles in the background. It has to be something there so people can have it up there. And I think that's a lot of people miss, is you have to have that. So, you know, suspensional music playing. If you ever wonder why that's there, it's because you can't have that gap in the file itself. It will not pass quality assurance.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You can't have dead air.
Correct. You cannot. So as you may love or hate AI, I've used AI to create the file. It's atrocious. It's really bad at it. So I've watched the same movie 17 to 20 times to create that file. And I've had to call the actors and writers and directors, you know, what were you saying here? And so I'm like, I am not getting it. AI is not getting it. It's just a lot of work. And it's still passing. It's still pretty cumbersome. I think it's about $150 for someone professionally to make it for you. And after watching the movie 17 and 20 times, I go, I'm going to pay someone to do that.
Especially after you already watched it 400 times to edit it.
Correct. So it's, you know, it's, you always hear the kind of like the adage that like people like, oh, I made this film. I never sat down and watched it before. Right. You never sat in the theater and watched it because you watched it a billion times over and you're sick of it at that point in time.
Well, there's also the one of, how do you know when you're done editing? When you can't stand to look at the thing anymore?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's So what what I have done with a couple people, some stuff that I'm in that I've edited, I will edit everything else. If I'm in it, someone else is going to edit me. I refuse to watch and listen to myself. Can't do it.
So then you're out there trying to push it to like film festivals.
Yes and no. It just kind of depends on what the film festivals are. There's, especially for found footage, there's Untitled Found Footage Festival, which is in the California Reno area, I believe. You try to get it out there, and honestly, if it's, you put it there, but you also have stipulations like they go, hey, we may get 1,000 submissions, but we're only going to pick the top 8. Cool. You pay the money for them to go, no thanks, see ya. No, then what do you do?
Yeah.
So we worked at Horde Ads, especially with Josh and I and Hunter. We've worked on a couple different marketing and distribution companies. They all have their good sides and their bad sides. There's pros and cons to everything. So we try to get with some that we trust, and they kind of be that middleman of, hey, we submit to you, you do the QA, and then you'll submit it to Shudder, to Amazon, to Netflix, to Tubi, and stuff like that. Just kind of be that person there to do that piece of it. No, of course, everyone will be willing to market for you for the right price as well. So it's just that give and take of the indie world, because yeah, you can spend $1,000 in marketing, but that could be your profit for the first year. What does that look like? So it's kind of getting into other, like I said, going back on the other people's shows and just marketing yourself. You have your cast and your crew marketed as well as much as you possibly can.
I've also noticed there's a trend going on lately of going to conventions and promoting your show.
Yeah, I have run into the same 3 film companies over the past couple of years at all the cons I've been to. It's, as you know, con tables are pretty expensive.
Depending on the con, yeah.
Yeah.
Between like $20 to over $100.
Days of the Dead here in Chicago is over $400 for a table.
Ooh.
And I've gone to a couple of them. I do it for my shows, and if I own something to sell, I'm making $0 back from that. It's just marketing costs at that point in time, right? So as you guys are in the con world, and it's an interesting world to live in, right? Because people are walking around there. Everyone's mostly there for, I'd say 60% are there for the talent that are there. The rest are there kind of just to walk around. You have a day pass, you kind of see what else is around. I go to cons for the show, for Horror Dads, to market what we do, but I also use it as a networking opportunity. I go to everyone that's there and talk to them about their work, because they're there to talk. If I'm able to, I will support indie as much as I can, especially if they're coming onto the show. I will buy their book, I will buy their comic, I will buy their movie, because people are like, oh, we want to give this to you for free. You're going to have us on the show. Like, no. This is how you're trying to do something here. I want to support you as much as I can. So I will buy whatever I can from people just to make sure that we're able to, I'm not here just to get free stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm here to promote other people's work. And I think that goes a long way in the con world, because everyone's here to try to make money. Hands down, that's a true statement. But as you know, you have to support each other, because without the support of, you may have 10 guests at 10 tables, but the other 40 are people with an idea, with an art, with something to share, and they're making up the majority of the conventions. We got to support that side as well, as much as we can.
All right, and where do ratings sit with indie films?
I'll let you know if we ever get below R. I don't know. it's
Have you gone above R?
depends who you ask. Um, the thing that's really great about Horror Dads is we're all fathers. We have pretty much no relationship statuses that we share to have PDAs for. There's no nudity in our stuff because, like I said, we're dads. We may be making things about people cutting your face off. We're not going to show TNA. And that's just kind of how we roll with it. And especially in the indie horror world, is I know a lot of filmmakers that have nudity in their films. And I go, well, I'm like, I don't know how you go around, trying to cast for that, let alone shooting it and putting it out there. And like, oh, people do it for free. And I've seen the movies. I'm like, that's a lot to show for $0. And so, yeah, so we may be bloody, we may be gory, we may be cussing a lot, but it's never, the rating's never from nudity for us.
Does the rating affect where you can get published out?
Not that I have seen. The film we shot a couple years ago, Untitled Footage, we pressed through the distribution companies that we normally do. A lot of our stuff is on Amazon. Untitled Footage is not. Amazon said it was too realistic and graphic for Amazon. And I go, I'm pretty sure you have like Terrifier around here. and it's we know what particular scene that may have caused issues with it, because like with indie horror, if you think of like Faces of Death, something like that, people are like, is it real, is it not? And I'm just going, our movies aren't that graphic in my opinion. But Amazon, no, you have the face of a baby skinned, therefore too graphic.
Yeah,
even though you don't see the process.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you see, from I think Curiosity Oddities, from some prop maker in this area, got the face of a baby. We had the sounds of it implying it, but we don't actually show anything. And they just go, that's too graphic. So I'm like, that's a good selling point on DVD. Too extreme for Amazon. Why not?
Yeah. So we've been going on for about an hour here. Would you like to give your pitch for Family Man?
Yes. So The Family Man is a indie horror comic come to life. It's a mostly silent film. There's going to be American Sign Language, and we are trying to work on getting the Kickstarter going here for Family Man. We don't know if we'll hit our goal, and if not, we have other things to discuss come later in off-screen, Jeff, that we'll probably be working on here shortly. We have casting on here right now. As we have casting come up, we will be doing casting announcements. But it is the first entry in at least 3 books of comics. So we are bringing it to life. And it's how far, what would you do to protect your family? How far would you go? Would you stop people from entering your house? Would you, be a little crazy maybe at times? It's just a way to tell that story. just a little. I mean, how crazy would it be if someone broke into your house? How far would you go?
Oh.
So
let's see, innocent.
How many shoes would you take off and hit people with, Sandra? Come on, let's be honest.
All of them. I would take their shoes and beat them with them.
Of course. So yeah, it's a bigger universe that we can't really discuss right now, but there's motivations behind the family that you see here. You have the mother, the father, and the daughter, and their motivations for doing what they do. And it's a good gory story of protecting one's family.
And that QR code is a link to the Kickstarter that's on right now. And this is in our social medias, and I'm pretty sure you've posted this up too.
Oh yeah.
And I
Yes.
know Distance Nerding as well has it up on theirs.
Yep.
So-
Yeah,
Everywhere.
it is everywhere. Like I said, I'm excited for this to get made. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be probably the goriest film Horror Dads has done.
Do you remember any of the tiers for the Kickstarter?
I would have to pull it up. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I know we were talking about possibly one where people get a mask or something.
Yes. So what there are a couple tiers. Obviously, you have the special thanks to credits. I think it's a $10 reward. You have the digital only. You get a digital copy of the comic and the movie. You have your brand in the comic. We're able to put your brand because we can't really show brands in the order. We don't have the rights. We can't be just all dressed up in Reebok, let's say, eating Pizza Hut pizza, drinking Pepsi. So we have to have brands in there for like bottles on our alcohol, on anything else that we have to have there. We have producer credits, we have executive producer credits. And one of the perks is getting a mask that will be made, and then the entire cast will then sign the inside of the mask. So you have a screen used mask signed for you. I'm excited.
I was going to say that's going to
be
come out
making
awesome.
these masks.
What was that?
I do believe I'm the one making these masks. And
Yeah.
and I think one of the things we were looking at possibly doing was sending it through the creator of the comic so that he could get signatures on the inside of the mask as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah. There's a lot of pledges that we have. I'm just my Kickstarter is finicky at times because I have as the creator and as a backer. So where do you want me to go? Where do you want me to go here, gang? Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, okay. I got the pledges up. We have movie posters. We have DVDs. We have, which all this comes with the higher tiers. You get everything below it as well. You'll get a crew T-shirt as well. So I had to make shirts for everyone, just so everyone has a remembrance of their time at there. If you want to be a missing person, we have your potential of having your picture in the film as well. I know a lot of people like to see that. We're gonna have VHS releases of this too because I'm old and I like VHSs.
I still have a
Next,
couple.
Laserdisc.
that machine's $10,000 to get and it weighs 2 tons, or else I would make them on Laserdisc.
Yeah, I got my one laser disc.
I just passed
And you have a bunch.
500.
I have the second of the original trilogy of Star Wars.
I have 3 copies of the original trilogy, 3 different ways. The
Mine's
theatrical
signed by
releases.
actual cast members, though.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I have theatrical
Yeah.
releases. I have home releases. I have special edition. So,
But are they signed?
in my head, they are. Nice. No,
Oh, yeah.
I bring my Laserdisc to cons to have people in the film sign. So I have Sean Cunningham signed my Friday the 13th. I had Heather Langenkamp sign my Nightmare on Elm Street.
All right.
I can't remember her name, but the voice actress for Pocahontas, she signed the Laserdisc, and I had her say happy birthday for my cousin. My cousin
Nice.
freaked out when I finally gave it to her.
So, I guess at this point, would you like to give us all your pluggables?
Yes, I'm Garrett, co-host of the Mostly Pod at Night, Mostly Podcast. I know you have the button, so you can find us on social media at Pod at Night. We took a 2-week break from Conversations Void, which is every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central. We are coming back with Just Real Films, a independent filmmaker from, I believe, West Virginia, this upcoming Wednesday. And we just passed 200 episodes of the Mostly Pod at Night, Mostly Podcast. So lots of work, and we're working on the Lake Placid series currently for the next episodes.
Nice. And that's on YouTube, Apple.
Yep, anywhere you get your podcast, and everything's on our YouTube channel, which is Pod at Night. It's at Apple, Spotify. It's on Amazon actually too. So
Nice.
Fun stuff.
All right. Well, I think that is it for tonight. So remember, everyone, be a maker, not a hater. Good night, everyone.